Welcome, Leo. Thank you for joining me on my channel. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. I hope you enjoy the insights here. It's a general reading. Please take what works for you. If it applies to you, that's fine. Otherwise, it may also apply to someone that you are close to at this time. If you have strong influences in your birth chart associated with another sign, please feel free to cross-watch for further insights. I have shuffled and laid out the cards. I work with the 12 houses of the zodiac, and so as the cards appear in each house, then those are the influences coming in for you at this time. So in the first house we have Virgo. I analyze. The first house is everything to do with yourself, your appearance, your vitality, your personality, how you project yourself in the world, what others see when they see you, and how you are perceived by them, how you are received by them. And it's everything to do with your physical body and also your self-oriented interests. So now with Virgo, I analyze appearing there. What this is asking you to do is to basically get organized. Organize yourself, organize your space, declutter. It requires you to be detail-oriented. So, so if you are, if you're the kind of person who is in the public space, or you're dealing with people on a daily basis, and what it's asking you to do is to come across in a very organized and analytical way, and to just organize your space, pay attention to detail. And this can also be for self-oriented interests like your physical regime that you may want to start, or some physical activity that you want to launch yourself into. But it's basically how you present yourself to the world. Also with Virgo, it requires for you to be fastidious with your health and diet. So take care of that. Don't overeat at this time. Rather be careful about what you're doing. And if you have some bothersome sort of ailments or issues that you feel you can address yourself, then Virgo is all about natural remedies and doing research and just finding ways and means to cope with whatever it is that you are, feeling in your body at this time, and how you want to, perhaps de-stress. Virgoans tend to worry as well. So perhaps if you are feeling stressed about things, then find ways to cope. Have a look at the natural remedies, and perhaps there's something in there for you. With a Virgoan influence, you can come across as highly strung. But either way, you will need a calm environment in which to concentrate and to, to conduct yourself as well. So whether that's in your work life or in your just how you are moving through your day generally. Virgoans can also be quite critical and nitpicky, so be careful that you're not coming across like that to others. But the main part about this, I feel, for you is to get yourself into a good routine. With Virgos, that's very natural for them. So it's all about routine, getting organized, being detail-oriented, be precise about what you're doing. You may also be asked to, if you're writing things, that definitely falls into the realm of Virgo. So it's how you express yourself as well to others, and come across as being caring and considerate as well. Then in your second house, you have solar eclipse revolution. So the second house is all to do with your income, your money that's coming in, your self-worth and your values. And it's also to do with real estate, your property, what you own, everything that you possess, your emotional and physical resources. So with this appearing in this house, you're required to make changes. You're required to make changes, because if you don't make the changes necessary, then things will be changed for you, and it will be abrupt, and it could be a bit of a shock. So this usually applies when you know there are things that need to be done. You know there are issues that you need to deal with, or just certain things that you need to address, and we're inclined to put them off, or we just get too busy, or we just don't quite know what to do. Whereas this is saying take action and make the changes necessary, because when you do that, you bring about a revolution, but it will be better for you ultimately on the other side of that. This is swift transformation, so make sure you're working with the universe on that one. So make necessary adjustments, and stay present as well. If you're dealing with your income and your money coming in, you're trying to decide something about what you want to do, stay present, because from there then you can make really good decisions. You can learn from the past, certainly, but you can't live there, and you can't project yourself too far into the future either. You need to think about what you can do now to pave the way for better things. Also, you may need to fix something perhaps has been that is needing to be done, and you just need to fix it before you can move on. So it's also about breaking old patterns. So if you've been a bit of a spendthrift, or you've in the past sort of splashed out, well, now you need to perhaps think more carefully about what you're going to do. Or it could just be that you want to make some kind of larger type of purchase. But also remember that the second house is about your values as well. So you may just be needing to change what you value now, your value systems, and what is worth, what your personal self-worth is, but also what the things that you own, what their worth is to you, really, in the long run. Then in the third house, we have Pluto, transformation. So your third house is everything to do with your communication. This is written, verbal, body language, exactly how you express yourself in all the different ways, whether it's social media or talking to somebody or writing things down, any form of communication whatsoever. This also rules documents, like contracts, that kind of thing. So now with Pluto transformation, it's exactly what it says there. You need to transform the way you communicate outwards to others now. So this could be linked to how you're expressing yourself now and your money that's coming in. Perhaps there's shifts and changes going on in the work that you do, or the people that you're dealing with. But there could be, something will be falling away, and it will be replaced with something else. Also, issues may be coming to the surface. There could be a surprise element to it, but there's some kind of adjustment, or a renewal or a rebirth. So perhaps the way you have communicated in the past, or perhaps the way you have been dealing with those sorts of issues, whether it's work-related or just personally, the way you are going to project yourself now will need to be changed and transformed. It needs to be deeper, it needs to be direct, and you need to, tap into your sort of deep intuition as well. So it's going to be fairly intense, and you will just need to be vigilant as well about what you say and how you carry through on your what you say to others, your promises, and your promises to yourself. So as I said, issues may be coming to the surface. This could be family related. I mean, this third house covers siblings, aunts, uncles, and cousins, that kind of thing. But it could also be the wider scale. If you're in, so the public eye, or you're dealing with a wider audience, then it's all about that, how you communicate. The third house also covers short journeys, taking a trip somewhere locally. That might come in for you as well. This is about perhaps letting go of something before and moving forward with something new. So you may be going somewhere new, or you may be changing where you go. Perhaps you've been going to the same places for years on end, and now you need to change something. So it can cover that as well. Then in the fourth house, you have the air element, which is communicating. Again, communication is strongly featured here. This could be, because it's in your fourth house, this could be related to your actual home, your physical home, or changes within your home, to the structure of the home. It's also to do with your ethnic identity and your roots, your foundation. So with the air element there, it's everything to do with communication yet again. So, but it's also about thinking. It's applying mental faculties to your situation. So you're going to need to think things through, make a thorough assessment, think of the bigger picture as well. So take into consideration where you are now and where you want to go in the future. Perhaps you want to change, if you're dealing with some kind of transformation and it involves contract, it could be to do with property. And it was also coming up in your second house, which deals with property. There are changes coming up there. So possibly you're downscaling, upscaling, moving home, or just changing your actual home itself, whether it's the structure. You could be upgrading technology in your home because the air element governs all technology, or it could just be electronics, something to do with that in your home. And so it's not emotional. So don't make decisions based purely on emotional decisions. You need to actually clarify your intentions, clarify what it is you actually want and need, and then also be honest. Be honest about looking at your surroundings, your home, what needs to be changed, what you can change there adequately. You need to weigh your options up. If you're changing the interior home or the exterior of the home, you can bring in, as I said, technology, but it's also about being inventive. The air element is an intellectual element, and the air element also covers manifestation. So if you're wanting to bring a new home to yourself, then having a positive outlook will also, and being honest with yourself, once you set your intention and send it out into the universe, you could very well manifest exactly what you want. So it's assessment, really. Think things through and actually weigh up your options. That's really what it's about there. Then in the fifth house, we have Black Moon Lilith. This is a female mystery card. It's the deeper feminine, the darker feminine as well. This is falling into your fifth house, which is to do with, covers several areas. It covers children, so your children or other children that you're exposed to. It also covers creativity in your creative projects, or just how you are in your world, whether it's work related or just hobbies that you do at home, but it's your creativity. It's also about love affairs, and this is highly indicated with this card, and recreation and having fun of all kinds. So this is a very seductive, mysterious card. As I said, it's the deeper feminine. So you could be entering a love affair, or you could be involved somehow, and it's going to be sort of really quite deep and sort of mysterious. It's got like a magic element to it. There's that. There's sex, there's seduction, there's all of that coming with this card. If that's not your situation and you're dealing with the other two areas, which could be, as I say, creativity or your children, you may find that your children are, if you've got an older child and is now starting to date and so on, they may be going through that and you're experiencing that through their eyes. But it can also bring a bit of rebelliousness and a bit of wildness, it's a strong feminine card. So there's a strong feminine influence here, whether you're bringing that into your relationship with your children or into your creativity, however it's coming in. But it's about standing your ground as well and being strong. And sometimes you may feel like you're going it alone a little bit, that you standing against others' opinions and so on. So there's all of those elements that could be coming in. You could be working on a creative project and just be feeling a little bit isolated possibly. But if you're tapping into the deeper feminine and harnessing all those qualities, then you can bring it through into your creativity. It's the deeper feminine strength. It's also the darker feminine. So it's also about not making decisions based on fear or anger. So you may be having to make decisions in any one of those areas, or you're going to be experiencing it somehow through your children or through a love affair. So there's all of those elements coming in. Then the 6th house, you have Gemini, which is I think. So your 6th house is all to do with your work projects, your work colleagues, your workplace, and your daily routine there. It's also about mastery of your craft, whatever it is that you do. And it's about health and about diet and also pets. So with Gemini, I think you have yet another communication card coming in. So this is coming in very strongly for you this month. And there seem to be changes across the board here right the way. And each one is kind of feeding into the other. So really it depends on how you project yourself now, what you're doing about your income and your values, how you're going to communicate that. And it's going to literally follow you from your home right the way through your chart. So with this in the workplace, it may be this that's triggering changes, or just a change of home or something that's occurring. Or it could be possibly that you something that you're reaching for, and that is going to have other effects, knock-on effects. But with Gemini, I think communication is key, and this is mostly to do with your work, and then possibly also to do with your health and diet. But it really is your projects that you're working on in your workplace. You could be having a Gemini person that you're working with or exposed to, or you could be in an environment which is quite fast-paced, where communication is key, or you need to bring those elements into the work projects that you're working on. This also brings in technology. You may be having to master some kind of new computer program or some kind of tech to assist you in the work that you're doing, and also to reach others, to reach a wider audience and so on. But it really is, communication is key, and also listening. So communicate by all means, but also listen. You may hear gossip, or you may hear others talking in your work environment. They could be talking about you, or they could be talking about what's going on. So just be careful with that. Don't get embroiled in gossip and get pulled into something there. This is a very curious sign. It gets bored easily. Distractions tend to fill the day. So if you've got a big project on the go, harness the thinking abilities of Gemini, but don't get distracted and lose focus, or get bored even. Find ways to channel your energy there. You also may have to talk yourself into a situation or out of a situation, and writing and multitasking could be coming in here for you. If a health issue is coming up, more than likely it's going to be nervous energy that you're burning up. So you could be feeling a bit depleted, to be honest. So manage your stress and manage that highly strung restlessness, which may come with this card, or just burning too much energy, too much talking, too much of everything, and then you're depleted, So just be aware of that. You could be, really busy and going out and busy with many projects all at once. So don't deplete yourself there. You're going to need to bring in the Virgo aspect, as I said, which was in your first house, which is be critical, be analytical, and be attentive to detail. Gemini is not especially detailed. There's lots of things going on at the same time, but you need to bring that balance in. You need to bring that critical thinking in, and the detail-oriented and be organized aspect of the Virgo. That's going to influence how you are. So bring that into your workplace as well. As I said, it could just be you're exposed to other people who are exhibiting Gemini qualities. And just pay attention to what's going on around you as well. Then in the 7th house, we have Sagittarius IC. So this is everything to do with your personal one-on-one relationship. So this can be a love relationship, your committed partner, or it could be a business partnership that you're involved in. But it's close personal one-on-one relationships. And Sagittarius IC, it's a lighter energy, it's a social, it's a fun energy, and it does also cover sort of humor and speaking your truth, being honest. So bring all those elements into this significant relationship that you have, or your close personal relationships. Bring the humor in. It really does lift things up and make things so much better. Yes, speak your truth by all means, but be careful, because if under the Sagittarian influence, you can just put your foot in your mouth. You can say something out of turn and really annoy somebody, or come across as offensive. You may not intend it that way, but it could come across like that. Just don't fall into as I said, this Virgo tendency to be critical that's coming up in your first house. So just temper that with the more Sagittarian qualities, which are freedom-loving, adventurous, and like socializing, and enjoy being outdoors, having fun and exploring, and also just enjoying a bit more freedom. So if you need to bring those elements into your close personal relationship, then speak honestly about it. Just say, look, I just need a bit more free time to do what I need to do, and to just relax and have fun. And so just bring that in, lighten things up, and get outdoors, get out and about, and go and have a bit of an adventure, and see what's out there, and perhaps have a change of scenery. And choose your words. Make sure they're loving and caring, and but still speak your truth, and say, this is what I require, this is what I need, and then work together with your significant other. Also with Sagittarius, the tendency is to a little bit of carelessness. So handle your finances. Don't have fun at the expense of that, and then later on you're going to have a problem. So by all means, go out and enjoy your environment. But don't be careless about your words or your finances, or how you go about things. Harness the very best of Sagittarius, and get the most out of your environment and out of your relationship. Then in the 8th house, we have Neptune. This brings up one of the aspects is sacrifice. It does bring that up. So you're going to have a look and see how this is going to pan out for you, because being in the 8th house is all to do with joint resources, but in a committed relationship. So this is your, whether it's personal or business. So this is your joint resources, whether it's material or emotional. It's your deeper commitment to each other, and the deeper sexuality in a committed relationship. So whether you're meeting somebody new, you could be meeting a Sagittarian. If you're not already in a serious relationship, you could be meeting a Sagittarian, and enjoying that. But if it's going into a more committed relationship, which normally the 7th house that's what it's about. Love affairs are the 5th house. 7th house is the more committed relationship. And so you may be entering something more deeper and more committed. And there's going to be some, sacrifices, but possibly it's more like a compromise. Working together to join your resources. Perhaps there's some things that you can do without, and likewise the other person can bring to the table what they feel they can do without, to make a harmonious transition, to join your resources together. But it could also be that you may just feel like you want to escape sometimes, that it's all too much. Neptune can bring that aspect in as well. Avoid illusions and assumptions about your deeper committed relationship or your business partnership. Don't get carried away. You need to be thinking about your finances, and this is very apparent here as well. And you need to be thinking about how you communicate. There's going to be issues that you need to deal with there. If you're single and you're on your own, and then you don't have a committed relationship, this could be a business partnership, or it could be also your relationship to big money, because the 8th house also covers big money. So this is investments, this is inheritances, this is legacies, this is banking, tax, accountancy. It's also handling other people's money, if that is part of your profession, or you may be doing it on behalf of somebody else. So there are definitely aspects of this house which could make you subject to some kind of illusion, or things are just not clear. You're just not clear about your finances, your big finances, or your the deeper issues. It could also be sexuality. There's some, perhaps a deeper commitment is bringing aspects in which you're just not clear about. So it's also, you need to put yourself in a grounded position. Stay grounded. Keep your feet on the ground while you access the higher qualities of Neptune. The higher qualities of Neptune is sort of a connection to the divine. So the 8th house can also be your psychic abilities. So it's a connection to that. It's a very dreamy sign, but it's a planet. But it's also about imagination, and it's about connection to the divine or divine aspects. It could even be a divine partnership that you're entering into now. So this is higher consciousness, if you want to put it that way as well. So if that's not coming in for you, then it could just be that you feel a little bit vulnerable, a little bit confused about your finances or about this committed relationship. There are perhaps issues that need to be cleared up. But all the while, during this period, always be clear thinking to the best of your ability, and don't, as I said, don't make assumptions or have illusions about things. Be clear. Communicate about what you want to say, because this is coming up very strongly in your chart. And compromise, or perhaps discuss it with your significant other and your partnerships to actually get clarity. Then in the 9th house, we have the Sun Spirit. So this is a very sunny, optimistic card. And this covers your 9th house, which is everything to do with travel, international travel. It's also about adventure and exploration, whether that's personal or external. It's also about higher education. So this could be university education. It's also about publishing, promotional work, teaching, and also religion, ultimately faith, and also belief systems. So all of these things could be coming in for you on your 9th house. But with the Sun and the Spirit card in there, this is about you putting your personal stamp on any one of those areas. It's you bringing your particular spirited self to the fore. So it's really you putting your personal stamp on it, bringing in your vitality. It's about taking action. It's also leadership. And you may be in the spotlight in any one of those areas. You may be called to bring in your leadership abilities, and people may be looking at you for that. It's also your influence in any one of those areas, what influence you're bringing to bear. And because it's the Sun and your Spirit, it's a powerful card. So you may be really able at this time to influence a great many people. The 9th house also covers the law. So that, you may be, that might be part of your career, or it could be something that you're learning. But whatever it is, you're going to be bringing your whole self in there and bring your full spirit into whatever it is you're doing. So it's throw your full self at it, and harness those lovely abilities and bring them in and spread them around, and really go for it. It's a very action-oriented card, but it's also about vitality, bringing your vitality in, your energy into whatever it is that you're doing. If this is to do with travel or anything to do with foreign people, you could be talking to foreign people, you could be communicating with foreign cultures. But if it is to do with anything foreign, then it may be a visit to a place which is really going to lift your spirits up, or it's going to be a nice sunny warm place. So you may just be needing a trip somewhere warm, somewhere where you can really feel the sun on you, literally, that is going to lift you and lift your spirits up, and just feel good, to help you feel good. You just may need to have a little bit of a break from other things that may be going on in your chart. Then in the 10th house, this is part of fortune increase, very, very fortunate, very fortuitous card. It's also a card of destiny. So this is coming into your 10th house, which is your house of career, ambition, authority figures, and your status, and also your fame and reputation. So all of those things which usually come with career or having a high profile of some kind. So part of fortune increase, this is about perhaps talents and abilities that you haven't really utilized, or you haven't really known about, or just haven't come to the fore, or perhaps you knew about them but you just never harnessed them. You just stuck with perhaps what you've always done. Well, this indicates that those are coming to the fore now, and because of that, you're going to increase and harness many more things around you, whether it's a form of abundance or just harness increased notoriety. You're going to be in the spotlight in some way, shape, or form. But it's also about harnessing those newfound talents and abilities, or really just putting them out there now for all to see. So it's emerging, if I can put it that, it's increasing, coming up from wherever it was not acknowledged. Now it's acknowledged. This card brings in gifts, abundance, flow, and also success. As I said, being in the spotlight, or just being noticed for what it is you do, who you are, what you're bringing to the table. It's creativity. It's also learning, and it has that public relations, promotions aspect to it. So it's a destiny card. It's kind of like you're destined or fated to be in this position. So this is a wonderful card to be having in that part of your chart. Your career could be taking off, or you could be making a change, and then now all of a sudden, or you're suddenly noticing that you're really good at something. Something has come out, and now you're finding that, gee, you really do have an ability, you have an affinity with that, and it sets you off on a new path, and doors open for you. It's like abundance coming to you, and abundance can be in many forms. It's not necessarily money. It could be all kinds of ways that the universe is smiling on you. But it's really about pulling those parts out of you, and actually working with what you came into this life with. Your abilities and your talents, and actually not being afraid to harness that as well and move forward. So it's a really fortuitous card to have. Then in your 11th house, you have lunar eclipse. This is change. So change is coming up again for you. The 11th house deals with friendships, and it deals with your networks and your groups and your clubs. So if you are going through a period of notoriety of some kind, or receiving good fortune, or really are being noticed now and changing career, or moving in a different direction, then it stands to reason that your networks and your groups that you have previously associated with, and even your friendships, may change. And this is definitely coming in for you now. So you may just find that, this is going to bring in unexpected changes. And also things may be going through phases or cycles of some sort, because it's moon ruled. The old is falling away, and so that the new can come in. And this can take place over 6 weeks to 6 months. So the initial change may be swift and unexpected, and then it starts to unfold over that period. Or you could have been going through something over a long period of time. It hasn't emerged. So in other words, it's been sitting under the surface, some kind of change or shift that is requiring to be made, and then all of a sudden, unexpectedly, it occurs, and you're now having to reorganize yourself. So that's how it kind of works. It's like things bubbling over. So yeah, out with the old, in with the new. You could be changing friendships, you could be changing, and if you're having to move, if that is coming up for you in some way, shape, or form, then it stands to reason that your networks and your groups and your friendships may very well be changing as well. It could also be that a friendship, or possibly a female, because this is a female, sort of feminine card, somebody close to you, a friend, is going through phases or cycles or changes, or is going through emotional changes. I mean, she could be approaching some sort of menopausal change, or there's lots of different ways that this can come about. But it could also be you in your friendships coming across as a little bit moody, or you're experiencing that through others. But there's shifts and changes, and it's cycles of the moon that are coming in here. whatever shifts and changes are occurring around you, whether some friendships are perhaps falling away, now you're making new ones, or networks and groups or clubs, other people that you used to associate with are now changing. It's for the better. So you need to let go of those older things and move forward and harness the new things, because the better aspects are coming forward for you, but they can't come forward until you let go of the older things. So it also could just be a change of perspective within those groups or within those friendships. So it's a change of perspective. You are viewing things differently. You're perceiving things a little bit differently. And you may initially with changes feel a bit disoriented. But once you look at things carefully and you go, access your intuition and your inner knowing, then you will be able to navigate, and out of that will come something better. This card also may bring up people from the past, or situations within your groups and associations from the past. Something may be coming up again for you. Then in the 12th house, you have Taurus. So your 12th house is everything to do with your unconscious self, your unconscious beliefs, just the unconscious in general. And it's also to do with deep contemplation. So this is solitude, reflection, retreat, withdrawal. It's also your deep spiritual life, meditation, it's mysticism, it's healing. All of those things can come in. And with Taurus, Taurus is an earthy sign. It's very grounded, it's very balanced, it's very methodical. There's a no-nonsense approach, practical. So you possibly need to apply that into these areas. So you may be wanting to just retreat a bit and enjoy solitude and reflection, or some kind of withdrawal, but to be doing activities which are comforting and nurturing for you, because that's what Taurus is all about: comfort, nurturing. You may want to put your hands in the soil. You may enjoy gardening, but it's some kind of meditative activity which is grounding for you. So it has a practical application. It must be. I wouldn't go too non-traditional, because Taurians are very traditional. So they're practical and realistic. So whatever it is that you want to do, it must have that practical aspect for you. And whether it's a new belief that you're perhaps investigating, or you're just wanting to look at your deeper beliefs, your inside beliefs, what you tell yourself, and your unconscious drives. There could be something there which you are reflecting on currently, but it is about harnessing that comfort and that nurturing for yourself. So you want to put yourself in that kind of environment so that you feel safe and you feel secure. This 12th house also covers things like escapism, drugs and addiction, things like that. And it can also bring in your experiences within institutions of some kind, whether it's a hospital or a library or a university or a government department. So you may be going to visit these places, and the 12th house covers your experiences there. So whatever goes on, again, keep coming back to the stay grounded, be nurturing, and seek comfort for yourself and safety, and also stick with the known. Don't be too stubborn and stuck in your way, so that you are preventing yourself from changing something, because it's also about that. But also just ensuring that whatever it is that you're wanting to look at, sort of in the deeper contemplative hours, is that you feel safe and nurtured, and that you're looking after yourself, and that you're grounded, and that you're not heading off into a direction which is not known at this time. So stick with more traditional more traditional aspects at this time. All right, Leo, have a wonderful month, and hope all goes well for you, and I will see you again next time. Take care.